Something that people don't understand about Amber Heard being in court against Johnny Depp is that it takes nothing to be in court and to be sued and to have to spend all your time and money defending yourself. If you are accused of something and somebody makes a civil complaint against you, even if everything they say is an absolute lie and there's no truth to it whatsoever, the judge has to assume that if the story were true, if it's not just completely, absolutely insane, but if there's any possible way that the story is true, they have to allow the case anyway, even if they really think it's the stupidest thing they've ever heard. I have found, again, I study law, I have spent a lot of time just looking at cases for sometimes no reason at all, just to fully understand all the boundaries of law. And I have seen 2 cases that actually got dismissed from civil court. And both of them were made by homeless people who were clearly just absolutely insane. Let me tell you the story about one of them. This guy was a resident of a homeless shelter for years. He was just completely crazy. You couldn't believe a word out of his mouth. Not that he might not have been a nice guy, but he just didn't know what was going on ever. And his complaint was against, I think he was suing the mayor and the sheriff for raping him at the homeless shelter, for coming to the homeless shelter and raping him in front of all the other people that stayed at the homeless shelter, which would be like a room full of 60 men watching the mayor and the sheriff rape him. That case got dismissed for being too ridiculous to believe. It's the only one that I can remember the story of. And the other one, I think I have just a vague memory. It was, again, similarly crazy by an actual homeless person who was crazy and who unfortunately just will never be able to say anything and have anyone believe him because he says stuff like that. Those are the only times I've ever seen a case get dismissed. So just because Amber's in court and she's been accused, you just don't need to believe that it's because she did anything wrong. And I don't know. Again, this is the era of coronavirus. I can't even get in to the courthouse right now. They won't let me in if I don't have a case to go and verify this, like if I could find the records. It's hard to get into a law school library right now. But this is something I know, and you'll just have to take my word for it, or don't take my word for it. Ask someone who's a lawyer. If you are accused of almost anything, there's almost no limit on how crazy it could be. But if there's any possibility it's true, the judge has to assume that the person who brought the case is telling the truth as a matter of law. He doesn't get a choice to say, that sounds stupid. It's not an option he has. He has to believe it until it's something so ridiculous like you being raped by the mayor and the sheriff at the same time in front of 40 people.